Hello and welcome to Strength and Balance. I've got a chair, a mat, a couple of sets of weights. The mat is really just there to keep your chair from slipping. We're going to start to warm up with a little tap side to side. We're going to bring our hands into this motion, palms to the shoulders. All we're doing here is getting the heart rate up, increasing our breathing. You're going to start to bring your heel to your backside next. Keep the arms going. Alternating, bringing the heel up towards your backside. We're going to change the upper body movement just a little bit. Taking the arms out to the sides. Wrists will be lateral with the shoulders, palms facing behind you as you bring your arms out. Changing the direction of your palms, keeping moving. And then switching up our movement to a march. Beginning to breathe in, reach up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bringing the heart rate up, getting the blood pumping through all the muscles and all the joints. We're going to change the upper body movement now, pointing your thumbs at your shoulders, then taking the wrists up towards the ceiling. Just pumping those arms up and down. Keep the knees moving. And then coming back to our inhale up, reach. Exhale down. Keep those legs going. And that's our warm up. Let's get our workstation set up. And begin with a little bit of balance. Circle the ankle here. And then we're going to do some tap the toe to the floor and then bring the knee up. If you can do it without holding onto the chair, that's awesome, but not a requirement. We're going to do each of these movements 8 times. And now you'll bring the knee out to the side, just rotating your hip open and closed. One more. Good, and then just swing that leg forward and back. Excellent. Let's switch sides. Starting with the ankle roll, bring the knee up. You can use the chair or not use the chair. Bring the arm out or have the hand on your hip. We're going to begin to hinge or tap the toe down and bring the knee up. Remember, if you don't need the chair, don't use it. Just keep your arm out to the side for a little bit of counterbalance. Bringing that knee up and down for 8. And then you're hinging that hip open. And again, if you need the chair, keep your fingers on it. 4 more. And now swinging back and forth. Keep that leg as straight as possible so you're not bending through the knee as you move that leg back. Excellent. We're gonna grab some, we'll readjust the position of our chair here and grab some weights. Put those to the side. You're gonna need, I'm gonna use heavy weight here. You can use a lighter weight if you prefer, but we're gonna place those weights on our shoulders and then separate feet so that they're a little bit wider than your chair and begin to sit and stand. Now, if you can do this without a chair and keep the proper form so that you're pushing your hips back, then feel free to do it without the chair and just go through that squatting motion. You're gonna do 10 here. And now we're gonna change into a one-legged version of this exercise. And now you definitely are gonna wanna use the chair if you're not used to doing these. They're a lot more challenging. You can either keep your heel on the floor or you can keep your heel off the floor. Any combination of that balance there to keep you in proper form. So if you need to rest your heel on the floor to get up off that chair, do it. If you don't, then keep the foot elevated or only tap it to the floor in between repetitions here. Again, you're going to do 10 here. And we're going to switch to the opposite side. You can keep that heel locked down to the floor. Remember to keep your toe lifted if you do that, or you can keep that leg elevated all together. So your goal here is just to be getting up and down using one leg if you can. Last one here. Good. All right, from here, changing the position of the chair, we're going to place one hand on the chair and step into a lunge position. You want to be on the side here, and you're focusing on dropping that back knee, keeping your torso nice and tall. You can have the arm out to the side, or you can place your hand on your hip. Let's take this to 10. And you're gonna stay down and hold it for your last one. Take a big deep breath here and come on up. And we're gonna grab a single weight. You can use light or heavy weight, but because we're working the lower body, I'm gonna choose heavy. And we're coming into a single leg deadlift. I'm keeping my leg that's closest to the chair, in this case my left leg, is straight. As I fold forward, my back leg comes up. Now, if you have really tight hamstrings, you might have to keep a bend in your knee to do this exercise. You can bend both knees as long as you're bending here from the hip, right? And your torso is in line with your knee as you come down into that folded position. Again, we're going for 10 repetitions. And let's go ahead and switch sides. I'm just going to change the view here so you can see. And we're going to start with that lunge, dropping down for 10, 9, 8, 7. Notice I'm staying on my toe on that back foot. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and then stay down and hold it. Take a big deep breath here and then step up. You're gonna get a hold of your weight and come into that single leg deadlift. So this just gives you a different view of the movement. You can see that my body comes down and my leg comes up pretty much uniformly here. I'm keeping that leg closest to the chair pretty stiff, but I've got a soft bend in both knees. Keeping your head in line with the rest of your torso. So you're not looking straight up, or you're not looking down at your knees. Perfect. We're coming back into squats, so you're going to drop down to sit in the chair. So it's either a sit to stand movement like I'm showing you here, or you can do this without the chair and just come into squats. Taking it to 10. And we're done with squats. Placing the weights back down. I'm going to choose lighter weights now because we're going to work the upper body. But it's up to you. If you want to use lightweight, use lightweight. You know what you can handle best. We're going to do some shoulder activities, which is why I chose the lighter weight. Standing on one leg. So I'm holding the weight in my right hand. I'm going to use my right hand and balance on my right leg. Just a simple bicep curl here is 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice the pace is nice and slow. Good. And then we're going to adjust to a little half pump movement after this. See if you can balance through it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right, let's take it to the other side. We're combining that same movement. On one leg, left arm, left leg is what we're balancing on here. Taking it to 10 again. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice the pace again. 8, 9. And if you can let go of the chair, let go of it. Again, if you need to hold on, you will. And then just that little half pump. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking it back over to the other side, we're going to change the movement, but balancing, again, right leg with the right arm. Coming into a shoulder rotation, just taking that wrist out to the side. Notice how my elbow is tucked into my waist. You don't want that elbow to leave your side. If you've got a towel with you, go ahead and just tuck that towel right underneath your elbow. And if you don't drop it, you know that you've got that elbow tucked where it should be. Again, taking this to 10. Notice how I'm not holding on to the chair now because I know I can balance. This is pretty challenging. And then we're going up overhead. With this movement, take note that my wrist is not directly over the top of my shoulder. Instead, it's slightly in front of that shoulder, coming up more in line with your nose than with your temple. Let's take this combo movement to the other side, starting with that external rotation of the shoulder, balancing on the left leg because I'm working the left arm here, using the chair when I need it, rotating out to the side. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to adjust to that overhead press. Take it straight up. And again, if you can balance through this movement, you're going to balance through it and not hold on to that chair. Here's 3. Notice the pace again, nice and slow. 4, 5. If you become unstable, just put some fingers on that chair. You got one more here. All right. Coming back to the other side. I'm going to give you a side view here. We're coming into a scaption exercise. So this is a V movement. You're pointing your thumb out in front of you as you bring it down and behind you as you bring it up. Your arm is a little bit out to the side here. And you want to control this motion both up and down and avoid any swinging. When you're on one leg, it really helps you to avoid the swinging. Again, use that chair if you need it for balance, especially with this one. Let's take it to the other side. Same exercise, coming up in that V-type motion. Two more. Excellent. We're going to use our chair now. This is where it does matter that your chair is on a non-slip surface. You're going to place your hands on the chair. You can either use the seat of the chair or use the back of the chair if you find that the seat of the chair is a little too low for you. I'm going to use the seat of the chair here. This is the more challenging version. You, of course, could go all the way to the floor if you felt comfortable with that. This is just a modified push-up. That's all we're doing here. Come down as low as you can. Now, because I've got a narrow chair, this is more of a tricep dominant exercise. And remember, if you need to, go up to the top part of the chair, and it allows you to come a little deeper. All right, come back into a stretch. You're going to drop your head between your arms, keep your feet flat, and then come forward into a plank, shifting right back into the stretch, and then into the plank. Again, you can use the seat of the chair, or you can use the upper part of the chair as I'm demonstrating here. Coming up onto my toes when I come into that plank, and then a push-up. Keep going with those push-ups. Let's see if we can get 5 more. 5, 4, 3. Keep your back straight. And then at the end of this set, we're going to push back into a stretch again. I'm going to turn my chair back around, but you don't have to. You choose what works for you. We're going to come into plank again, and we're going to lift a leg and hold it for 10 counts. Keep holding, and switch. Three, 2, 1. And then we're going to come into hamstring curl. So keep the legs in line with each other, and you're just bringing the heel to the back side. Let's get 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and switch legs here, keeping the torso nice and straight. You're in a plank, so you're bracing your weight on your hands here, not your feet. Two more. All right, bringing our weight back into the movements. Here we're gonna come into a row. I want you to stay on the toe of the back foot. That's where the balance aspect comes into this movement. See how my back is straight and I'm pulling my elbow to the ceiling. You wanna be a nice straight line from the base of your skull all the way down to your heel. Again, doing this repetitions for 10. And then going into a tricep extension. Turn your palm up as you push back and try not to move your arm from the shoulder to the elbow. Let's get 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Switching sides. We're gonna do that on the opposite side, that little combo. This gives you a different angle of the movement. Again, see that I'm on my toe. My body is nice and straight from my head to my heel, and I'm pulling my elbow to the ceiling, keeping my arm close to the body. Here's 4, 5, 6, notice the pacing. 7, nice and slow. 8, let the arm come all the way down. 9, and then hold your last one up, take a breath. Go into your tricep extension. Palm to the ceiling. Keep that arm straight from shoulder to elbow. Take it to 10. Remember to hold your last one and then step up. We're gonna come into a balanced position here with no weight. Balancing on one foot, I've got a nice straight back and I'm opening the chest. This is just a little thoracic rotation. For you golfers, this is super important. You're just opening up the chest as you rotate side to side, keeping balance on that one foot. Taking this to 10, 5 on each side. And then we're gonna switch legs. I'm gonna show you a different view here. You can see I'm tilted forward. I'm balanced on the one foot. And you see I'm opening all the way up, but I'm not turning my body. Here's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're gonna grab some weights now, and we're gonna do the same balance position, so same body position you just had. And now you're bringing both arms out to the side at the same time. Keep your belly tight, keep your shoulders back, arms out to the side for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're gonna switch legs and do the same thing. Belly in, shoulders back, take it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna come on down to the floor now in a kneeling position. What I'm doing, you can do standing in a staggered position, but kneeling is gonna force you to engage your core just a little bit more with a little less help from your legs. You might feel like you're wanting to come from the chair side to over the opposite shoulder, but really you need to be in front of the straight leg coming over the opposite shoulder towards the chair. So if you do fall to one side, you can catch yourself on that chair. Again, this is for 10. Here's 4, 5, and I'm going from in front of the hip to across the opposite shoulder. My right arm is crossing over my right eye. So this is just giving you a different view. And you want to control that motion both up and down. Avoid swinging. That's not our goal here. We're gonna switch sides of the chair. Now, if you don't need the chair for this, you don't need to move the chair and change the position of it. If you feel pretty steady and pretty balanced, you're just gonna go into the movement without the chair. Again, we're doing this for 10. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, and last one. All right, I'm putting the chair back on the mat just to keep it from slipping. And now I'm gonna put my feet on the chair. So I want all of my weights where I can get to them easily. So I'm gonna do that first, move them into a position that's easily accessible, and then come down onto my back with my feet resting on the top of the chair. So don't put your feet on the front edge of the chair because you might scooch it away from you. Instead, you want your heels to be resting on the chair, and you're gonna lift those hips up and down for 10. Hands are resting right by your sides. Focus on getting your hips as far up off the floor as you can. You should feel this in the back of your thighs and the hamstrings. Notice I'm also keeping my toes lifted, so I'm engaging the muscles in my shins. Let's get a hold of a weight. You can use a light weight or a heavier weight. Since I'm using both hands on the same weight, I'm gonna go with the heavier one. I'm reaching overhead. It's important that your back stays in contact with the mat throughout this overhead reach movement. So I'm going all the way from over my head, over my heart. If you come down all the way so that you're touching the floor, chances are that your back is gonna pull away from the mat. So it's important not to come all the way down unless you have strong enough abs and strong enough back muscles to keep you anchored on the floor as you bring the arms overhead. All right, coming back into that hip lift, except now with one leg. You've got 5 on each side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come back to that overhead reach. So again, your back needs to be in contact with the mat, reaching overhead and bringing it back over the heart for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to put that down. Adjust your position, hands by your hips, and come back into lifting the hips in a bridge motion for 10. You've got 5 more. Last one. Take a moment, relax, just stretch out, reach the arms up overhead, and then bring your knees to your chest, find your way back up. Use the chair if you need it. And then you're coming into a plank position on the chair again. From here, we're going to come into thoracic rotation. Open the chest. Rotate as far as you can here. Another one that's great for you golfers, tennis players as well. Going through 10 rotations. And then let's push back into a stretch, letting the head fall between the arms, looking down at your knees. And then we're gonna come into some transitions here. You're gonna find your way into plank, and then bring the arm up and behind the back. Switching sides, let's do the same. Thoracic transition to bringing the arm behind your back. Coming back to center, push back into that stretch again, looking towards the knees. Now with one arm still on the chair, you're gonna bring the opposite arm up with your feet flat on the floor. And then try that on the opposite side. Just open up as much as you can there. Coming to a standing position, we're gonna come back around to the other side of the chair and come through some calf stretches. So you're gonna put your hands on the chair and make sure your back leg is straight so that your heel is lifted off the floor. It should be hard for you to put that heel all the way down. We're gonna come through this for 8. Here's 4, 5, 6, 7, and now hold it down and lean forward. You really wanna push that heel down. And then let's do that on the opposite leg. And then pushing the heel down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and now push it down. Hold it there, lean down. You're just looking to feel a stretch through the back of that calf. Coming back around. We're going to use the chair for a hamstring stretch. So you're putting your heel up on the chair. Bend the knee of the leg that you're standing on to deepen this stretch. I'm going to show you a different angle here so you can see a little better. I'm bending that knee and I'm leaning forward. You don't have to come really far into that forward fold. You just want to feel the stretch in your hamstring. Then we're going to come into a quadricep stretch, pulling the foot up towards the backside and leaning forward. Now, if that doesn't work for you, I'm going to show you an alternate stretch. So the alternate stretch, you're going to place your foot on the chair and then sit back that way. Now, if you have some limitations in the mobility of your knee, you may not be able to do that at all. So do what works for you. You know what your own natural range of motion is. Now coming into a wide leg stretch, you're going to push back so that you're again dropping your head between your arms. You might put your hands on the seat of the chair. If you feel comfortable with coming all the way to the floor, you can do that as well, but you're going to find a little bit more of a chest stretch by keeping your hands up on the chair. Let's come on up. I'm going to change the position of the chair so you can see me a little better, and we're going to have a seat in our chair. Bring your feet a little bit wider than the chair here. And we're going to come into a forward fold. Just breathe in, reach up, exhale, fold forward, and just relax here for a moment. Take a couple breaths. And one more big breath here. And then roll it up. Roll your shoulders back, sit up tall. We're going to turn to one side, straighten one leg out to the side, and turn towards the bent knee in the back of the chair. Keep your chest up. Try not to lean against the back of the chair. Your goal here is to feel a stretch all the way through your torso and your back. Same thing, opposite side. And with the leg extended, it deepens that stretch into the hip flexor. Bring it back around front. We're gonna come into a glute stretch now, pushing down on the knee. You've got the ankle crossed over the opposite thigh. You're just looking to feel that stretch in your hips and in your glutes. And then come into a forward fold in this position. If you can reach your chair legs and pull yourself down, if you have chair legs to pull on, that's gonna help you deepen that stretch. We're gonna come on up, try it on the opposite side. Cross one ankle over the opposite thigh, push down on the knee. Take a couple breaths. And then we'll just do it as a forward fold. Come into a breath up, lean forward, maybe pull yourself down, maybe just allow the weight of your body to pull that knee down. Let's come into some upper body stretches now. We're gonna take one arm up, drop that hand in between the shoulder blades and push that elbow back. You can also pull it back if that's more comfortable for you, but it's gonna depend on your shoulder flexibility. Let's try this on the opposite side. And we'll come into a reach across shoulder stretch. Relax the shoulder. You might have it all the way up by your ear. Take a breath and let it go. Same thing, opposite side. Just pulling that across. You should feel this behind your shoulder now. Just move your fingers, move your wrists. And we're coming into a gentle neck stretch. Notice how I'm sitting up nice and tall, very gently pulling my head to one side. We're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side, just very gently. Again, sit up tall. And then we're gonna do a forward stretch. I'm gonna show you the side version. You wanna be sitting up tall, and again, it's just a very gentle pull forward. Let's come back to center, get a big deep breath, reach all the way up, interlace our fingers, turn our palms up, pull it back, and we are done. Have a great day, you guys.